Ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing? This is Con Or coming to you with some more Steel Division Normandy 44. Today is a massive 4v4 replay submitted to me by one of the allies over here. So we're going to rotate this around so we can kind of get from the allies' perspective. While this comes from a Reddit user named Shermanator, unfortunately, I'm sorry, I don't know which name he goes under for this particular game. Be a massive 4v4 against 4 of the game developers themselves. While I mentioned to you that Paradox Interactive does do some support for this game, the developers are Eugen Studios, and frankly, it's kind of amazing to see all these guys playing together at the same time. We are going to be seeing in this particular game, let's see, oh my gosh, where are we looking? No, I had it from the first place. Alright, so going back from the allies, so the map itself is Carpet Cat, which is a massive 4v4. You can see, factory complex going on over here. We've got some kind of warehouses and an airfield right here in the middle part of the map. Definitely a little bit of town section going on here as well. So it's a very, very varied map. And going from left to right over here, we are going to see that it's going to be a Vulcan playing the 2nd Blindé. It's a French division. We are also going to see ourselves at Stavrock, who, oh my gosh, we're seeing for Stavrock, here we go. Stavrock is over here playing the 6th Airborne, so expect to see a lot of early infantry coming out of this bad boy. Rasman to his right playing as the 3rd Armored. 3rd Armored tend to ramp up as the game moves forward. And last but not least, where is Stealth 17? He's also the 2nd Blindé. So the 2 French divisions on the map. My guess he's going to be lining up right over here. Right in this kind of district position. Ooh, what is this down here? Kind of awesome pillbox thing going on. The kind of a destroyed radar installation of some kind. I could not say for sure. Their opponents, like I said, this is going to be the Eugen Studios playing against them, so expect to see some really interesting play. We have a Grand Strateger? I've never heard that kind of name before, but he's playing the 12th SS Panzer. To his left, we will see nobody just yet. It seems that some of these players not rushing on into the fray. However, over here in the kind of 2nd position, we'll see Tahuti. He's playing the 352nd Infantry. Now, that obviously does mean that we're going to see some very vetted up squads early on. And to his left, we will see Sedist playing as the 21st Panzer. And at long last, we're going to be seeing over here, okay, and finally the last game developer playing as the 17th SS Panzer Grenadier. It's FLX. Has a very minimal build so far. Never mind, here we go. It's got some more Opel Blitzes and Schimmenwagens ready to move forward soon enough. Now, this map, like I said, is fantastic. It's wide open spaces over here on the flanks of the map. If you get closer to the inside, you can see it gets broken up quite a bit. Opens up again in the middle, as you can see by this airfield. But a lot of major engagements happening right about here and here. Now, if the Allies get pushed back enough, they have a nice little strong fallback position around here, but if they get pushed back that far, it's going to be hell to pay, I would say. You see the developers are planning out quite a bit. So my AT here claims 1. Also, please, someone says FLX moving up over here to take out this crossroads, and that's a great opportunity there. But let's hopefully see some really great action coming out. And once again, a big thank you to Shermanator for sending this on, and forgive me, Shermanator, for not knowing exactly what your name is on this map. So you can see right here, this open area, there's a railroad tie that kind of slides on through. You'll see a lot of players will try to put indirect firing positions behind these trees because, well, it allows them to engage further and further up the map. Now, unfortunately, though, the positioning of these roads makes it very, very uncomfortable to shift on ahead. Allies are trying to rush forward. My guess is taking this crossroads right here and maybe a push to take out this hangar or position troops within the hangar. But it seems both sides are very, very happy just to sit here with a kind of conservative breakout. Grand Strateger over here is, of course, bringing forth that Butte Sherman. That thing, excuse me, Butte Firefly. It is a Sherman chassis, but a Butte Firefly. M8's up to oppose already, and I imagine these Panzer Grenadiers are going to take some losses. 222 shifting on forwards, and that's not going to be a great position. Oh my gosh, what did they get hit by? Crew killed already. Jeez. Pack 38 is getting into the fight. Going to do some crazy, crazy damage. M8's taking hits like crazy. Shifting over here to the eastern side, we'll see the 2nd Blindé under Vulcan is moving on in. He's pushing back quite a bit against FLX. I would have thought that FLX would have had more troops in the area, but no, the 17th Panzergrenadier has a very, very conservative start up, with just a flak rating, a couple of 222s, and some troops kind of shifting on in. However, Stealth 17 is getting hammered. He's losing a bunch of equipment already. He's got his own M10 up in the area, and all of his troops are vetted up. He's got to do something here, because this Pack 38 has taken out, what, 3 vehicles already, and turned this rail into a area of death, supported especially by this Pack 40 over here to the west of that first road. One more volley in might spell the death of somebody else. They're practically on top of each other. They're kissing each other there. It's only by good luck that fuel has not been ignited on everything here. Allies have quickly moved on in. They have a Mosquito Pathfinder coming in as well with some napalm coming on down. Where's it hitting? Oh my gosh, they're going to hammer these Panzergrenadiers. And probably even these machine guns as well. Yeah, blowing a hole, I would say, in the German position right around the airfield. Hangars over here, we're going to see is that, what, the 6th Airborne? Yes, so this is going to be a lot of Stavros troops. Like I said, tons of veterancy. Engaging up against Tahiti over here. And Tahiti, with the 352nd Infantry, will be in good position, I think, to engage them early on. With a Panzerjäger over here. This thing's a boxy little beast. Open-topped, not going to get much utility against this infantry opening, with only a couple of rounds of HE to be used. Over here in the west, we see a little bit more of a conservative engagement as well. Razman, excuse me, facing off against the Dust. And the 21st Panzer is going to trade decently well against the 3rd Armored early on. Although, even as I say that, of course, we do see his early anti-tank that gets taken out. But let's shift back over here. Well, this is going to be hung up for a little bit of time. Let's shift back over here to that engagement early on. We did see, and yes, Stealth 17 is taking crazy losses. Looks like he's taken out the Pack 40? Yeah, he has. So the Pack 40's taken him out, been taken out. I have a Spitfire now making a couple of gun runs in onto this Pack 38s. And that's probably going to be the only thing that's going to keep him in this game. You just want to check this out, though. See, German carcasses right there, and there goes the Pack 38. But look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 vehicles. Just the Vulcan's getting torn to pieces, I would say. And indeed, already we can see that his HE rounds on his tanks are largely out of any kind of action. Looking over here in the middle of this town, and again, guys, I'm looking forward to the time they don't see this block right here. You see it covered by a banner, but I don't want to show off exactly what's going on in terms of the whole overall timeline. I'm seeing a massive infantry engagement, and it's actually uncommon. You don't see this very often. You see a couple of squads of infantry there to grab territory, but not always this kind of massive scrum. But even as we move in, we see this Vickers just trying to hold down this road, and we'll do a decent job of it, but even then, the 6th Airborne's getting wrecked pretty hardcore by a very, very aggressive push by tons and tons of Grenadiers. Now, to the right of them, Razman is trying to push on forwards a little bit more. He's pushed away a lot of the German equipment that is in front of him. M4A1 Sherman's kind of doing some decent work, and I dare say that the Stuart is going to be able to hold the line against this early pack. Wow, this pack actually has 0 visibility whatsoever. Oh no, never mind, he's got a much better position. Now, question is, will this tank see him in time, or is he going to take some rounds? Okay, in the first round, coming back in, takes him out. So, Sudust over here is kind of in a hard spot. See a couple surrenders over here as Grenadiers get pushed back. And I see a T. Oh my gosh, it's TOT. We gotta make sure we come back in 25 seconds or so for that. That's gonna be a crazy barrage. In the west, we will see that the Vulcan seems to have stabilized a bit, and now bringing his own Spitfires again, making gun runs as ME-109s come in and return, making his own ground attack. The question is, where is he going after the M8, or is he going to go after this 57mm? My guess is the 57mm. Yep, there we go. Rockets away, takes that out, and escapes without really any kind of damage in return. TOT barrage. Time on target means that artillery theoretically should all be landing at exactly the same time. It was a very underwhelming barrage. Didn't do quite as much damage as I thought it would. And unfortunately as well, these paratroopers are not ready to shift on in to take advantage of all of these pinned down troops. And you can see right now that they have wasted that opportunity. Another TOT barrage being placed over here Maybe to force back all these Fiora Grenadiers might be a good opportunity. Now, even if a couple of rounds impact in that initial zone, yeah, see, there's squads getting wrecked. But not enough just yet. Still just a couple of rounds. I'm surprised that the TOT has not done more damage. A lot of them are falling back, though, for the meantime. Panzerjäger going to get himself back in the fight, engaging these rifles over here on his left flank, while Vulcan continues to pressure Sudust back over here to this crossroads. I would suggest that this particular mortar half-track is keeping Sudust in this, keeping him even in here at all. Rifles, in the meantime, taking out a light vehicle to the right-hand side and causing him to surrender. And the Allies taking 54% of the map away from the game developers themselves. It's going to even increase as this M8 and a half-track flanks works around over here with Vulcan on the German right. Now, I don't know who Alex was, unfortunately. I don't know the game developers that particularly well, but it doesn't look like their anti-tank was able to control this crossroads. And as such, you are going to see the M3A3 kind of limping on forwards, kind of being very sneaky. Does he really see a whole lot? No, he doesn't. And that's a bit of a shame. But now the Allies control pretty much all of the airfield. They control most of the landing strip, and it's really just this 221 that's holding anything down for the Germans in the center part of the map. There's a TOT barrage, or another barrage in general, has kind of destroyed some of these buildings. And as such, we see that the German infantry is falling back. Most of this poor town has been leveled over here, at least on the left of it. And M8 is managing to engage these Panzer Grenadiers. If they got any closer, they might have been able to pop that, what amounts to a howitzer carriage. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So Phase B happening in a minute 20, which is a good opportunity for the Germans to kind of get back in this. As of right now, they're getting hammered. I would say, honestly, out of all of them, it might be that the 12th SS Panzer is in the best position of them all. You got to be worried about that, because Vulcan is bringing in another wave of M5s. The second Blindé doesn't really ramp up much in the next couple of phases, so they've got to do what they can with their early tank forces. The M5s are decent tanks, more or less. Oh my gosh, what is this over here? So Greel, okay, he's got absolutely no ammo. You know, one thing that's always bothered me a little bit is that I've seen a lot of players so far not really engaging early with support vehicles, and I tend to try to bring at least one Phase A truck, if for no other reason, to keep my indirect vehicles completely in supply, as well as ensuring that any kind of rough engagement doesn't have to go poorly for me as the game progresses. That doesn't seem to be massively a priority for a lot of players. Yikes. Meantime, another TOT barrage comes on down and hammers these Grenadiers. Gonna force back the Germans a little bit more, and we have a Bren group now in this hangar just to the right of this German position. They could sneak up forward to maybe this building right here. They could really stick it to them and allow, I would even argue, another push to kind of cut off this forest. But for right now, the Allies don't need to do that. They've got 59%, so +2 for them every single second. And Phase B has just started in the meantime. Okay, 57mm pinned down. He's going to get falling back. He might even get taken out if the Germans make a concerted rush. But no, instead it looks like they're going to be held off just in time by the M5s here. Now, Germans are trying to move on in. 222's falling back, but dear God, here comes a metal beast of a Panzer IV. Got a good amount of veterancy as well. So that's one of the best things I would say about the later German material, is that it gets fairly vetted up pretty darn quick. And you cannot discount having one veteran tank at a critical point in the battlefield. But he's got to do something, because that's really the only thing he's got left. Okay, so the M8 I don't know, can he chase the 222 off the map? I don't think so. But on the plus side, his Panzer IV is not going to be able to bring him under fire for quite a bit of time. And I think the M8 is going to need to take advantage of that as much as possible, even as another Panther moves on in. So this guy's falling back, but I don't know to where. check back in with the rest of the fight in just a second here. 60% now. Dear God, these guys are getting wrecked. Kind of embarrassing when the game developers are getting crushed. But at the same time, it might just be that there's some builds that are really, really doing well early on. And some of these matchups are a little bit difficult for the Germans. The 17th SS Panzer Grenadier does not match up well against a lot of light vehicles early on. Yes, they do have things like Panzer Grenadiers to kind of deal well against infantry. And let's be fair, the Pak-38s are strong against light tanks. But it's not the simplest thing. Rockets coming on in, taking out the 57mm, and making the way a little more clear. What was I saying before? Oh yes, that the early German equipment is not always able to contest the light tanks fielded by many of the American and British divisions. An ISG too close to the front line gets taken out by, I'm not entirely sure what, by, oh my gosh, a Pak howitzer. Okay, so he's doing well. Getting some damage out, and you can see, like I said, a lot of these guys having 0 munitions. And where is that support truck? He's got to be around here somewhere. I think he's back here reloading this 81mm. And Pathfinder coming on in as well, dropping off rounds. Looking for and finding, I would argue, the Flak 36. Unfortunately, he's not going to get taken out. He's pinned down, and that's about pretty much all of the... all that Stavrock can hope for? No, Razman. Okay, so that's all the armor can really hope for. Meanwhile, on the German left, Sudust continues to have issues. A Typhoon is coming on in, but the Typhoon falls back before even dropping off its bombs, I think. And the wedge in the German line continues. We are going to have ourselves kind of the German taxi for infantry coming on in. He dropped off his troops. He's got to make himself a little bit more useful right now. It's probably the only thing the Germans can do is just start flooding the field with medium tanks. Strokes coming in, a Butte Sherman coming on in, a couple of them actually. But there's huge amounts of AT. Look at all this. Incredible amounts of AT. So the paratroopers over here either with Gannon bombs. We have Piats. We have... really, honestly, not the greatest opportunity. I mean, high explosive, not going to do a whole lot. But even just having all this equipment here, you can just throw tons and tons of rounds. And I'm seeing now, what is that over there? Okay, that's 57mm putting rounds into this Butte Sherman. Question is, can this rifle get close enough to take him out? Doesn't seem. He's hiding behind this forest right here, so good opportunity there. And already, less than 15 minutes into the game, the Allies are halfway to the required victory points. But they do have to watch out. I would say their middle is going to get ripped to shreds, because these, like I said, the later game for the second Blindé doesn't go particularly well. And a nice little gun run from that Junker 87 coming on in as well. I like seeing the Germans are bringing in a fair bit of air cover. Question is now, Spitfire, is he going to make a gun run? No, is he here to engage the 109s? That guy's going to get his rockets off, I would think. And this particular plane, ground attack DB-78, DB-7B, excuse me. Not 100% sure the classification that Williams. This is your Bailiwick. Spitfire coming on in, trying to protect his ground attack plane, but he's getting stressed out pretty hardcore. And there he goes. The poor guy buys it, running interference for the ground attack. And yes, actually, we have going to see that the Brents have shifted on up. They've been able to take this position right over here. They're driving a wedge between the Germans. I think this Junker's going to come on in and just throw that 50 kg bombs right back at him, though. Might be the best opportunity he's got left. If he can take out these squads, he might be able to drive on in with Strugs and Butte Shermans. Yep, here comes the Junker. Oh no, he's dropping the pack on the pack instead. Pinned down, but not going to be enough. This guy can see for 1,200 meters. So fairly quickly, he'll be able to engage the Stug if he doesn't take too much extra firepower. Typhoon coming on in now as well. Oh, he doesn't even drop his bombs. That Flak 36 doing some really great work. And there's signs of life yet in the German position. Pack is going to get hit pretty hardcore. Another barrage coming on in. So we're seeing a lot of very effective usage of this off-map artillery. It's not something I've been able to really utilize effectively myself, but taking out a Pak-38, and with these scouts over here just to continue to hold on to sight, I don't think the Germans are going to be pushing on in anytime soon. An M3 scout car shifting in. This guy's going to bide, I think. Butte Sherman is right here, bringing him under fire. And indeed, yep, machine gun comes on and just blows him to pieces. Back on the German right, we are going to see Me-109s and Spitfire engaging one another, kind of spinning around in circles until ground fire might compel flight from the Spitfire here. Hasn't happened yet, though. Allies have fallen back down to only getting 1 point per second, and that's lucky for the Germans because they are still headed at a massive goose egg. Vulcan is bringing on a lot of M10s, a lot of Phase B material he's bringing in, but that's still not enough to hold back the line against all these Pak-38s. And indeed, the Martyr is pretty darn good against this as well. Tank Destroyer against Tank Destroyer, I would give my money to the Martyr most any day of the week. And there's more than one, and supported by those anti-tank guns, it's going to be very difficult for the French to push on in. To the French right, we are going to see Stavro coming on in with Piats and blowing apart the kind of Pak-38 that was existing for quite a bit of time here. I continue to be surprised to see... Okay, so the Stugs are coming on in, and the ISG is there as well. Ooh! 17-pounder, though, comes forward and takes one shot and blows apart that Sherman. I'm wondering, can we see these AB leaders sneak on up and help out against the Stug? Because these guys are completely pinned down right now. I don't want to see them surrender, but it might end up happening. Tetrarch tank to their right, kind of hanging out in the middle part of this forest, not being able to be seen by a whole lot. And just there, just to provide a lot of morale to the surrounding troops. 35R coming out from Tahiti's... Oh my gosh, 352nd? Yes, 352nd. Not quite enough. A lot of equipment in this area, dear God. Typhoon's falling back. Mosquito falling back. I don't know what this air was trying to attempt over here, but whatever it was doing, it wasn't working. You know, Vulcan is trying to bring on in a bunch of tanks to fight back this revivified German right. And with the 12th SS, these guys do ramp up. You can see right now Panther's coming on in and really just destroying whatever's coming on next to him. But a 76mm is going to bring under fire his 222. So let's see what that first round does. If he impacts against... Oh no, he's not. These guys just creep out of the way just in time. And there we go. Now bringing this 222 over here under fire. Might be enough to stall the German push. That's one. Half-track, no, excuse me, infantry bows out delicately. And it looks like this Panther D is going to get some fire from the 76mm as well. 222s do back up, and that's a good decision there. Bouncing off, though, but the Germans seem to be able to close out this pocket, might be able to push, because there's not a whole lot left there to back them up. Never mind, that Panther going down does deal a rather hefty blow to the attempted German assault. Alright, so now we are in Phase C. And the Allies just continue their constant step towards victory. They're only getting a +1 for the time being. Oh, looks like that Stug has actually surrendered over here as well. Cut off alone with the sun on his face. That's all he's got. And wondering, 3rd Armored can bring in some really, really great material now. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Actually, I'm looking in the wrong section for that. I'm looking instead at the 6th Airborne, so that's a mistake right there. Now, Razman, though, he's got the M4A1 OP. Now, I don't know how you really want to go and... how do you want to talk about this one? This is more of a command tank. He's got the shield right there by the radio. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see ourselves some off-map material, assuming he survives, engaging against things like this Martyr. And a TOT barrage coming in from Razman. I'm not sure if this is the greatest positioning for it, but we are going to see the Germans rushing on in. And I think he's using it to cover the 76mm that will get engaged, if nothing else. An attack command coming out from, I'm not sure who, we'll get back to that in just a second. I want to see if this barrage achieves its goal. At the very least, it is going to be able, I think, to stall the German shove. Okay, well, pins down one of them, but there's absolutely nothing else. But okay, so here's the M4A1 able to engage along this road. These forests doing a great opportunity, just kind of just confining everything. But with support of that tank, we are going to see Razman's position stabilize. Butte Sherman taking a ton of firepower, going to try to put engaging into the 76mm, but one more round might be enough to kill. No. So I think he's going to get pinned down. Yes, he is. He's got to back up now, or else he's going to die. But the middle part here, okay, so we have a supply jeep handing out tons of ammunition, good opportunities. We have more and more airstrikes coming away from the Germans, and that's a good way to get back in this. Target your enemy's strongest point and then just bolt. And maybe what we're not seeing right now is we're not seeing what the Germans are really being able to notice. So looking at Stavrock as the ally, he has no idea
Enemy spotted. Be ready.
really even what's ahead of him. He knows there's a bunch of garbage, but he doesn't know exactly what's there. Now, his opponent, conversely, has zero idea. If Stavrock doesn't have much idea, Tahiti's got zero idea. And indeed, they know way more what's going on over here to their right. But they seem equally ill-equipped to deal with it. And where's neutral? There we go, back to neutral. So we can see right there, there's a ton of air power fighting back and forth. Spitfires engaging these ME-109s. Might finally be able to see some death. No. The veterans of this long war are able to deal death one after another. One of the Spitfires going down, another Spitfire going down. This last one might perish as well. And nearly impacting against that anti-tank position. Only the sheerest luck preventing it from doing so. So cool. I love... This game is honestly fantastic to watch. It's fantastic to play, too, but it's fantastic to watch. So, we have seen a successful airdrop of those kind of incendiary bombs. I'm not entirely sure where they went. Oh, over here after this flak position. That's an 88mm, so they're not going to do something very, very easily against that. Junker's going to probably dive down, I'm guessing, in this area right here. Might be the greatest position for him. So I can't see him engaging these scouts. It wouldn't seem to me like to make a lot of sense. And where's that dive? Yep, he's coming on in. He's going to take out that position pretty easily, I think. Machine gun? Oh, never mind. Machine gun gets hit, but not enough to cause a mortal wound. And forgive me for missing this. At long last, we did see a very brief push where the Germans exploited a gap between Stealth's second blindé and Vulcan's second blindé. It was definitely a very good opportunity. Unfortunately, it got missed and couldn't really get a lot of follow-up. There wasn't a whole lot of infantry to exploit the gap or to really kind of slide in behind Vulcan's troops. Capturing them in a vice, considering how much air power has been active over here on the German right flank, the Allied left, you can see right here. Could have been incredible. Now, this ace falling back in the face of a lot of ground fire, and these poor pioneers. Although this Panther has killed one of their accusers, one of their attackers, really, both squads fall to pieces, and that gap in the German lines, excuse me, in the Allied lines, has been sealed up. Mosquito falling back? Oh, I think he's Winchester for munitions as well. And he was. He dropped a bunch of material down on top of the hangars west of the airstrip. We continue to see huge amounts of fighting just to the east of that. This town is practically leveled. Only one kind of small bit of it surviving. Not even unmolested, but just surviving for the time being. Calliope barrage is coming down and impacting all around this 35R. Oh geez, the Spitfire's gonna get bomb rushed. Focke-Wulf coming on, and ME-109's coming for ground attacks as well, so rockets away. Not enough to take out these harassing M8s and this M5. Now, that Martyr definitely is taking out one of the M8s already. The problem with the Martyr is that while he's excellent at destroying the equipment, he's not great at taking the punishment. He can dish it out, but he can't take it very easily. Kind of a thin skin, if you get what I mean. And Germans bring in a Schimmelwagen from the backfield, looking to go and maybe get some artillery in this sector. I'm not sure if maybe the best option, but nevertheless could be pretty darn good. There we go. Yep, there's some artillery coming in, and I think he's got a good idea what's there. TOT barrage would be enough to destroy that light material in front of it. Or at the very, very least, force it to fall back. Now, unluckily for him, he has seemed to place it a little bit too far to one side. Indeed, it might have been better to place it further back and, if nothing else, destroy these trees. But that is not going to be his fate today. Indeed, this Aufklärer, not... Actually, wait a second. He could see all that, couldn't he? He could see all that, so why do you place the TOT way the heck over there? His Panther was able to go and take out an offending M10. But position could have been far better, I think. Allies down to just 51%, a revived German push by FLX. Doing great work and seizing back a good chunk of this airfield. Now, so this is the 17th SS Panzergrenadier. So the late game for them is much stronger than the early, obviously. The Pak 40 with the 75mm, we're going to see a lot of Martyrs coming on in. The Panzergrenadier does do well, fairly well in the late game. It takes them really kind of a long time to kind of ramp up to it, but it does fairly well. The one thing I'm a little surprised by is that Razman over here has not been pushing. The 3rd Armor out of all the divisions here in this particular game has a crazy, crazy late game, getting 150 requisition points every 10 seconds. And definitely fielding a good chunk of strong late game armor. However, we're not really seeing that here, and instead we're seeing a lot of half-tracks and some kind of half-assed infantry pushes coming on in. Now this M4 over here, he's getting blown to pieces. This Butte Sherman's going to see him. Another round or two might be death. But here was the... Okay, for the P-47 comes on in instead very, very quickly. This is a tank buster. And rockets away. Doesn't do any damage, unfortunately. That's going to compel these guys to withdraw. But it has been a little bit of damage. A little bit of kind of discouraging fire. Little John Tech Truck. This guy is a tank killer. It's only a 2-pounder, but and obviously it doesn't have the kind of punch the 6-pounder might have had otherwise. But it's still pretty darn good. Now, are these smoke? Yep, they're smoke grenades. So looking to block off this Panther over here from actually getting any sort of sight whatsoever. Getting the 57mm into position to engage, I would argue. This light equipment as it comes on in. No, Germans do manage to kind of smoke it out and run away in another direction. Now, I'm a little bit concerned for the Allies, again, because the entire 6th Airborne might have its own market garden thing here going on. There's a massive bulge in the German lines, but you can see that these fingerings are sliding around the flanks. And there's a lot of heavy equipment here. Thunderbolt has come on in yet again. This guy's stressed out. He's going to have to have a little bit of repair time, especially some time for rearmament. And his Calliope, does he have? Okay, he's got a fair bit of reloading to do. And really all we have, though, is this one Sherman who's facing off against a Königstiger, against Butte Sherman. He's going to face off against this Pak 40 once gas gets set up. We have a Mobilwagen. Okay, I'm not 100% sure exactly what this looks like. Okay, so think of a Verbowind without the rotating turret. It seems just like literally having the anti-tank gun in there. Excuse me, the anti-aircraft gun in there. Quad, as I believe, looks like. Flak 43s. No, it's a single 37mm cannon. Okay. And Typhoon ATs, okay, coming on in, trying to take out that Königstiger. And frankly, if he can do that, that will be dealing a massive, massive blow to the Germans in the area. That Königstiger, first of all, is not cheap, and second of all, is just incredibly, incredibly deadly. Mosquitoes coming in, bombs are going to be lofted like crazy. So bombs away on the Königstiger. If you can hit it with either one of these things... No, not going to be enough. The Königstiger just falls back. He's got 19 armor, though, too, so that's something to consider. And the ME-109 claiming one of the retreating craft. It looks like it was that the... No, it wasn't the Spitfire, was it? I'm not 100% sure. But now we're going to see Junkers coming on in and realizing as the Americans and the Brits might be time to give up part of the town. And indeed, we're seeing for the first time in 30-some-odd minutes, the Germans are actually getting some tickets. With 2,000 of their 2,500 100 tickets. It's going to be very difficult, I think, for the Germans to even get back into this game. ME-109 falls down. Typhoon AT backing away as Focke-Wulf's coming in like crazy. 190s are going to be more than enough to take out the Typhoon. Wait, does Rasman have, like, anything left? Well, Vulcans are coming on. Okay, so Vulcan Spitfires are coming on in. We're going to see at least probably one of these guys go down in head-to-head. No. No, instead we see the Ace coming around. Might be able to take out one of these guys. No. Spitfire, another Spitfire coming in instead, though. There we go. So that's death right there. And now it's an Ace fight. The Focke-Wulf is a little bit more heavily armed, I would argue. I'm sure somebody would disagree with me. The Spitfire, of course... Oh, no, this is a later Spitfire, so this guy's got some pretty good material as well. 20mm cannons in the wingtips. Calliope taking out the Butte Sherman, though. So rockets away, doing some great work. And the Jumbo actually aiming down the road. Blowing apart the entire German position. All that's left is a Butte Sherman, and I'm wondering, is this Jumbo is not going to be aiming at him, unfortunately. That's an unfortunate thing for the Americans. And here we go! A pocket has been formed! A cauldron battle is now really an opportunity here, but that's really because this 222. I've heard rumblings that they're going to be nerfing this. The 2 Tetrarch tanks coming on is this 222 is not long for this world. And here comes the 50... No, excuse me, wow, 230 kilogram bombs. What? 500-pound bombs away, my friends. Question is, where is he going to hit him? I cannot say for sure. But wherever he's going, he's not making it out alive. Oh my gosh. Rockets exist. Are we going to see bombs away? No. Yes, we are. Okay, so looking to take out that anti-tank position. Takes out 2 of them and immediately gets blown to pieces. Rockets are going to come in, though, against stealth's French troops, taking out some positions, but not enough. And with a scout car coming back in, and with the Aufklärer and the 222s going to be devastatingly outgunned. Crew killed already. There goes the massive issue, the massive hole, really, that was blown in the Allied lines. That cauldron battle has been completely broken. But despite the fact that they're getting kind of trounced by some opponents, the game developers are not giving in, and I have to respect them for that. More Junkers coming on in, another bombing run. Nope, doesn't even get the bombs off. He's going to retreat before he gets shot down. Let's see, what is really left to be done? Aufklärer are hanging out, and I think this half-track is just shifting in to kind of get rid of them. Vulcan does see them, doesn't he? No, he doesn't. Somehow he does not see the scouts. Interesting. Focke-Wulf coming in and out, just making gun runs like crazy. He's got looks like a radio in there, but I'm not entirely sure what that will do just yet. A French M10 is hunkering down behind this forest, and if we do see any kind of German infantry feeling a little bit frisky, they could get through this small line of shrubs and just kind of flank the bejesus out of it. But for the moment, that's not going to happen. Instead, we're just going to see consistent fighting between FLX and Stavrock's 6th Airborne. I've been very impressed by that. Junker finally going down. Now, you have to remember that in the context of the war, the Junker 87 was obsolete even by the time it was really being used as the primary surface bombing run. Excuse me, close attack bomber for the Germans. It's a very, very bizarre thing to think that that was the major kind of... What's the term I'm looking for? It was the well-known ground attack bomber for the Germans, and yet it was completely and totally obsolete even 10 years before it was even being utilized during World War II. This Mosquito has come in, dropped its bombs, and is fleeing back. Now, with... What is the... Oh, this is a Flak 36 in the back of it. With 2 half-tracks right here, and the Flak, Flak 43... Flak 41, excuse me. And all of this extra just kind of machine gun material, as well as another Flak 43 mounted on the back of this half-track. Not sure why the Allies are trying to push an air situation over here. Indeed, they're doing a much better job, we serve far better, throwing their craft over here to the western side after these martyrs, which are coming up in droves. And indeed, this guy actually has a ton of bombs left in his guy. He's got his 2 bombs. I'm not sure why he's not making a run right now. His allies could definitely need it over here to the western side. If you could take out even one of those martyrs, I would think that'd be more than enough. Meanwhile, over here on the western side, this M10 is going to get flanked. And yep, 1 shot comes out from the Panzer Grenadiers, and that's enough. Martyr coming in as well, taking him out. And the allies, which had done so well, including clogging up this entire town, are now being forced back slowly, step by step, but not giving up ground anything but begrudgingly. Unfortunately for this particular tank over here, excuse me, we are going to see that the tracks have been broken, so I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get out of here alive. In fact, I'm pretty sure he's not. Driver knocked out, so if the tracks being broken wasn't enough, now his driver is also kind of either dead or concussed or something. Fusiliers Marines, so we have some Marines actually coming on in with second blinde. And a half track up here is probably going to get roasted and toasted by this rather good equipment here. M8, though, not yet begun to fight, jumps up here, but throws 1 round to the side of this Martyr. And like I said before, the Martyrs are excellent, excellent killers of armored material, but they cannot take it. Of course, you fire 50 cal at them, it's not really the same thing. 50 cal comes up, takes a couple rounds, and falls back, and immediately surrenders as he realizes this position is rather untenable. Over to the left-hand side, Stealth has completely collapsed. All of his infantry is gone. All of his vehicles are gone. He's got nothing left. And indeed, actually, let's see, does he have anything, really? A lot of his material is hung up over here in the fight for this airfield. Probably a good decision. It makes much more sense to do what he's doing right now. And unluckily, this Mosquito doesn't get a chance to drop its bombs. But short of an entire collapse of the Allied front, and I mean an entire collapse, and I mean more than 75% of the map being gone, I don't think it's going to be anything but an Allied victory. Maybe not complete, maybe not total, but a major victory seems to be happening. He's got, what, 80 seconds left? Yep, 80 seconds, and then it's going to be the Allies bringing up some success there. Another Junker going down. All these Tempests coming in behind. These guys are stupidly heavily armed. 4 machine guns in each one of them. 50 cals, I believe. I might be wrong. And with that, I believe we're going to see an end score about 222... Excuse me. 2022 to about 780, 800 maybe? Then again, if the Allies can go and take a couple of these percentage points back, they move away from this whole 58% control. So that's going to happen, though. These sappers are getting pinned down. These ME-109s have been pretty much the only thing, I think, that kept the Germans in this as long as it had. And taking a look at the map writ large, I've finally seen the Stealth revived, rushing on in after these Panthers. Not going to go very well, though. Lots of smoke grenades, excuse me, smoke bombs coming on in. And we're going to try to pause this just before the end of this game. Yeah, we're going to pause it right here, folks. This is pretty much the end of this game anyway. 6 seconds left. Going to be a major victory for the Allies by the end score of, what, 2022 to about, like I said, about 800, maybe 810 at the absolute most. Allies doing a great job early on, clogging up the middle, throwing a ton of highly vetted up infantry on in. You can see a lot of these guys had been here since the word go. These are all early phase infantry. The supporting fire provided by some very, very good artillery barrages kept FLX position, well, falling back in the face of a lot of firepower. Now, I would have liked to have seen the Germans use these roads a little bit more, especially to push back Razman, to do what they almost did, to slide in and around these hard positions. They could have cut off all of this material here, and while there's a lot of AT, there's a lot of like anti-everything, cutting them off and then throwing a ton of indirect fire pretty much wherever they could see a concentration. So hitting this crossroads here, the town buildings here, this particular area almost didn't get touched at all. But nevertheless, well played to the Allies in this one. Unlucky to the game developers, but it's very gratifying to see the game developers, even dropping a game to some newer players, But thank you so much, Shermanator, for sending your replay to me. I know I asked for it, but it's fantastic and a lot of fun for me to cast and to watch. Taking a quick look at the end kills over here, what do we have? Okay, Naval Battery doing some good work, but not really a ton. Pack Howards are doing some good damage. Now, where are the 76 millimeters? That was my question, I guess. We're only looking at... okay, I guess... Shermanator was Staffwork, so forgive me, Staffwork, for not knowing that was you. His anti-tank's doing pretty well, but really just his indirect firepower doing pretty much all the damage necessary. And I guess a little bit of work from those machine guns as well. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this particular game. I hope to see you all soon. I'm definitely loving this game so far. I'm going to be posting up with more replays as you guys send them to me and as I find them myself. It is my hope, actually, as soon as this game drops, to kind of cast a small tournament, so keep an eye out for the details on that one. And for the time being, this is ConnellWorks signing off, so you guys all have a great day. I will see you all soon. Take it easy, everybody.